What is up, everyone? I'm Blaiden Kirk, joined as always by my two favorite co-hosts of all time, Matthew Sponhour and Theo Ash. And welcome back to another episode of Stay Hot, presented by our good friends over at Little Caesars Pizza. We're Stay Hot, they're staying ready, with some hot and ready pizza for you all NFL season long. Where are we, fellas?
We're in Las Vegas, rainy and cold Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's been weird.
It has been weird.
We're at Radio Row.
We are at Radio Row. Theo has been at Radio Row before, but this is Matt and I's first time. We're the freshmen.
The rookies.
The rookies.
And yet I was the one carrying all the equipment.
No, I carried all the
Theo
cables.
asked to carry, because we had to get all of this stuff down here. He asked to carry all the heavy stuff. And then, and I hate to say this, it makes me sick to say this, he could not do it.
Oh.
It was too awkward. I hate to say it, but it's
You said you weren't
cool
going to
here.
talk about that.
you promised you weren't going to say it.
No, you embarrassed me in front of all the media, dude.
Not in front of Shannon.
Not in front of Shannon Sharp. I'm trying to think of some of the names I've seen here today.
Yeah, it's a
You
lot of
thought
people.
you saw Roma Dunze.
I thought I saw Adunze.
Which
I know
I
that
can't
I saw
imagine
Shannon Sharp.
that he would be here. But we're here to talk about the Super Bowl. It's only a few days away now, and that's, of course, why we're here in Vegas. And we've gotten to talk about it with, some of our Uber drivers. And
Yeah.
And now our Uber driver made a very
Oh my
good
God.
point. And he said that Kyle Shanahan was due to win a Super Bowl. And
that's
as somebody
true.
picking the Chiefs, I had no response. I couldn't say anything. So it's something to take into account.
It is something to take into account. But
And we've talked to some of the players also
We have
about
talked to some of the players.
not really so much about the Super Bowl, more about things that have happened in the past, like the Deshaun Gibson question that I asked about
Yeah.
the coverages last week.
mhm.
You guys were at Andy Reid's press conference. Did he
a
give
lot
any
of
nuggets?
just- the only things were about like injury reports that I thought were any news. Like McKinnon, he
Yes.
said was unlikely. Tooney, he said was unlikely. And Tony, he said was practicing, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Right? So outside of that, it was mostly just him. Does it mean anything to you that you might be, I don't know how many coaches have won 3 Super Bowls before, and he's not going to be like, yeah, dude, that's sick.
Right.
I'm so nice, dude. Oh my
Exactly.
God. Like he's not saying that.
The
Yeah.
number of people that I see ask the same 5 questions, it's really jarring. It's like I see all these people with like big fancy equipment, experienced media members, and I'm like, I don't know, it just feels stale.
Yeah, there's a lot of just what is being here like mean to you.
And it's like
How do
there's
you
just
want
only
to be
so many ways you can answer
remembered?
that. I don't blame the players. I thought several of the players were really cool and would talk about whatever when they sort of got into it. But if you get the sort of
The key is the phrasing. It really all is in, because they can't give anything away. Like, I asked MVS what a play call was, and
right,
he didn't want to tell me the name of the play call, which I thought was kind of up in the air. That didn't shock me, but maybe the 49ers know the name of the play call. Like, I don't exactly know if they can take that information and actually use it at all.
Right.
So sometimes you ask stuff that is classified information, but sometimes, especially when you're talking about the past and what has happened, they're down to talk about what they saw or what has happened. But a lot of people don't even know all 22 probably exists that are here, I would imagine. I don't
guess
think that
that's
they're
fair.
really watching, and they're not noticing.
they're not
They're not noticing
We've
like
been
we are.
noticing a lot this week,
Yeah.
and for those who know that Twitter reaction image,
Noticer.
we're noticing a lot.
But I don't know. Let's get into the Super Bowl talk here.
I mean, I feel like since I was in the Chiefs photo shoot, I have to pick the Chiefs, right?
That's true. Your head was in the very back of one of the Travis Kelce photos.
yeah.
And that's all for this week.
Yeah, that's
for
the
tuning
whole
into another
episode. Thank
episode.
you all for tuning in. No. Hey everyone, quick ticket buying update. Say goodbye to the stress with Game Time. Now I know we usually talk about the fantastic $20 off with the code BLADENK, but hold on, because we've got something big for you here today. How about a whopping $100 off your ticket to the big game in Vegas? Yeah, you heard that right. You can use the code VEGAS100, available for all users and not just the new ones. Now, realistically, $100 off a ticket worth a couple of thousand might not sound like a fortune, but hey, Still $100. And guess what you can do with that $100 in Vegas? The possibilities are endless. Now, here's the kicker: $100 off the top of Game Time's lowest price guarantee. No kidding. See your seat view, get all in prices up front, and snag the best deal because Game Time is truly committed to your peace of mind. So here's the deal: download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Vegas100 for $100 off your big game ticket. Terms apply. And remember, this offer is for all users, but wait, we're not going to forget our regular deal. You can still use the code BLADENK and get an additional $20 off, just like you would any other event. So don't miss out on last-minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed, by downloading Game Time today and make every event unforgettable. Cheers to stress-free ticketing and extra cash in Vegas.
This episode of Stay Hot is brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy. It's just you against the numbers. Instead of battling thousands of other players, including pros and sharks, you just pick more or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types are what makes Prize Picks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. And they also now offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. A couple weeks ago, I hit a big one on Prize Picks with my Browns versus Jets play with Njoku and Flacco and Breece Hall, and you can too. And by the way, if Patrick Mahomes throws for more than just 1 yard during the big game, you win on Prize Picks. So head on over to Prize Picks, use the code STAYHOT, and they will double your first deposit, or prizepicks.com/stayhot and use code STAYHOT for a first deposit match up to $100. So what are you waiting for? Head on over there.
Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL, knows fans love a great game and a great deal. So we're tossing out a challenge and calling it Pick 6 for slices and sticks. If there's a Pick 6 during Super Bowl 58, fans who accept the challenge on our app will get a free slices and sticks, period. We've partnered with NFL legend Derek Brooks of the Tampa Bay Bucks because he knows all about the Pick 6, having returned one during Super Bowl 37. That play led to a 44-yard touchdown and a win for the Buccaneers. So accept the challenge today and win some pizza.
Steph Curry makes you believe that you can do anything. I mean, look at me. He has me believing that I can shoot threes when I play pickup basketball. And the Curry 11s are specifically designed with ultimate bounce, grip, and stability to allow everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming up and showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock your favorite player and rep his shoes on and off the court. The Curry 11s are perfect for both the committed and casual ballers. The UA Warp Tech makes the shoe feel like it was designed for your feet, locked in no matter what you do on the court. Stop in your tracks with dual density UA Flow cushioning and traction, an emergency brake that you don't even notice. Steph's 11th signature shoe steps into the second decade of his sneaker career, pulling colorway inspiration from the wonders of a positive and modernized future on and off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave the scrimmage and rep UA wherever you go. Do your thing. Change the game. The Curry 11 Future Curry is available now at currybrand.com. But what are we feeling? So let's start with Chiefs offense on the field.
Yeah.
They're going up against Fred Warner and company. Are we expecting them to be able to put up points? Or
I mean, I think the main thing that a lot of people are going to expect is the Chiefs' bad tackle play is going to come into effect with Bosa. But the way they've been getting the ball out so quickly, the Ravens have one of the best pass rushing units and one of the best guys at drawing up just elite pressures. And they weren't able to get hardly anything. They got one sack the whole game, and that was the first time Mahomes had been sacked.
And last year they were sacked 0 times in the Super Bowl, even though the Eagles
led
had
the league in
the
sacks,
all-time record or most since 1960 sacks in a season, and they didn't allow a single one. Now the field conditions had something to do with that, but
that's true. I'm thinking back to the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, where it's like we could sit here and be like, oh, the pressure won't get to Mahomes, it won't be a big deal. But I think there's also totally a world where the 49ers do get pressure, and we look back and say, oh, that kind of went like Tampa did, and we were
Yeah.
dumb for not thinking of that as a possibility. I don't disagree that I really trust Mahomes to not take sacks and not throw interceptions. He's been great with that all year, and especially in this postseason run. But there's definitely a world where the talent is just too overwhelming.
Yeah, Bosa on either of those tackles is a scary thought. Bosa, I mean, I think that he's been playing pretty well in these playoffs. He had a bunch of quality pressures against the Packers.
Yeah.
Versus Sewell, that was a good back and forth, but he had some really nice quick wins on an inside spin move, and he bat the hand away and won around the edge versus Sewell as well. And Rasheed Walker for Green Bay couldn't deal with the speed to power. So, I mean, we know the kind of guy that Bosa is and how he can win all three directions around an offensive tackle, and he's going to cause major issues. But I do think Reed is very good at negating that kind of matchup, and he has been all year because the tackle play hasn't been strong all year.
Right.
He is very, very prone to getting in shotgun, and then off of both tackles, he'll put a tight end to give some chip help, and he's really not afraid to do that. And it's something that Kelsey really thrives in, to just chip and then release. Late down the field, everybody's backed up, and then Kelsey just finds a bit of space and makes a move to turn up field. So if anybody can find a way to negate the talent disadvantage, it's Andy Reid, because he is the best screen designer in the game, and the Chiefs have more yards on screens than anybody else this year, and he's not afraid, and he's good at giving chip help, and their best weapons are the dudes underneath. So
Right.
Yeah. And I think like the game against Baltimore, I was looking back on my flight, and the first drive, they ran so much motion, so much misdirection. I just wonder if that's just going to be a lot to overcome. Just so much pre-snap movement. There's just a lot to think about defensively when you're going up against Kansas City, at least this iteration of Kansas City. And I think to your point, Matt, about like what we've seen a slightly worse version of the Chiefs' offensive line get dismantled by Tampa Bay. That offensive line was like all of the sudden fell apart. This is mostly the same line they've been working with all year, outside of they're going to probably be without Tooney. That's the big thing I think could be a factor. But I think for the most part, they're going to be able to handle the pressure. The thing that I think you worry most about is, how are they going to be able to attack the middle of the field at all?
Or
Because of Fred Warner and Gibson and just that.
Yeah, the middle of the field and deep. Like, they've been so bad as a vertical passing team this year. Like, in the first round, there was all the Mecole Hardman deep shots that weren't able to be tracked. But it's like, who is catching those deep balls? Kelsey isn't these days.
Right.
Rashee Rice isn't really, I don't think of him as like a go ball catcher. He's kind of more over the middle on dividers and
He hasn't been
crossers.
utilized as a deep threat, really, for them.
Yeah, the Chiefs have been one of the worst vertical passing teams. So if you're the 49ers and you're able to take away the deep shots and everything over the middle with Warner and Greenlaw, you're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough one, dude. Because here's the thing. Like, they didn't score in the second half of that Ravens game, man.
No.
They didn't have some great offensive performance. And I know it's a great defense. And 49ers defense hasn't had two particularly good games in a row. But it feels like there's a lot of limitations on the Chiefs offense coming into this. And with Tooney out, it's like, man, you're really, really getting down to it. And you're relying on a lot of the same stuff. You don't have a ton of options available to you.
Yeah. I think they're going to have to lean on the running game a little bit. I think that if they want to win this game, that can't be gone. I think balance matters so much in the playoffs. And the 49ers, we saw it last week against the Lions and the Packers. The 49ers defense has struggled just as much as the Chiefs offense has at times late in the year, or throughout the entire year. They've been better late in the year, which is good for them. But if they can get to some, of that pin pull stuff, that duo stuff that was working so well against the 49ers in Detroit, or versus Detroit, they were in San Francisco. Plus you have Mahomes. It's just like, oh, man. I think my main take, more than picking a winner on this game, is I think it'll be close, and if it's a blowout in either direction, then I will say, like, I didn't know what I was talking about. But, man, it's I think when
A blowout would really shock me.
I think so. That's where I'm at as well. But there are definitely reasons to believe, even though it's Mahomes, even though it's always been the Chiefs overcome the better roster the past couple years with the Eagles and the Ravens this year, and maybe the 49ers the last time they played. All the money is on the Chiefs, but it's not unreasonable to think that they don't put up too many points, but I don't know if I'm like fully willing to accept that reality.
It's one of those things where it's like you can't count out Mahomes, but like he's not going to win every game. You know, the run can come to an end at any moment. It's been really good, but the way I'm looking at it, I think they're two really even teams. If I had to guess which team was going to make less mistakes, it would be Kansas City.
Yeah.
I think the 49ers with Purdy are a little bit more prone to it. Doesn't necessarily mean that, Purdy can't play a clean game or Mahomes won't throw a bad pick or a receiver's not going to have a bad drop for Kansas City. But I feel like that's part of the way that they've won their last two games against the Bills. They just didn't make as many mistakes as Buffalo did, at least with the missed field goal. Against the Ravens, most certainly that's why they won.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens, it was textbook. I mean, it was like a little, like a kindergarten level.
Right, and it's like, I thought the Ravens were the better team across the board, overall.
Definitely.
And I still think that, to be completely honest with you.
And same thing with the Eagles last year when Hurts like dropped the football and like that's all it takes.
Yeah. It was
They were able to move the ball the rest of the day, but
the Chiefs just made zero.
And that's partially because they have, one of the best quarterbacks ever, who's really good at dealing with pressure. It's partially because they've got one of the best coaches ever, making mistakes. That's how Michigan won their national title. You think about it, they just didn't make a lot of mistakes last year, and a lot of their big-time opponents did.
I mean, you ask a coach what wins you a football game, and they're not going to be like, well, you need the perfect game plan. You need to take advantage of certain coverages and call the right plays. They'll tell you every single time, don't throw interceptions.
Yeah.
And it's coach speak, and we'd like them to get more technical with it because all of those things are huge. But that is what it like. If they're all saying that, and it's written in coaching books that I read, it's like why teams lose games. Mistakes is like number one thing. And I think that Spags versus Steve Wilkes is more likely to force some mistakes from the opposing quarterback. I think about the 49ers and the way they play defense. It's always the same. Like the fronts are always the same. Their personnel a lot of the time is the same. Their pass rush paths aren't like freaky. They're not blitzing a whole lot. Like you kind of know what to expect when you're playing a 49ers defense. They're going to mix in zone coverage, maybe close the middle of the field on early downs, get more too high later downs. Like it's pretty straightforward stuff that they do. They just invested in like the God squad at front four with Chase and Hargrave and Bosa and Armstead, right? And they're like, well, we're just going to keep it simple and guys will play fast and we just have better personnel and it doesn't matter like what fancy scheme that we run. But I wonder against a team like Mahomes if he's going to just be like, okay, and just not be fooled by anything. And whereas Spags is like, the fronts are like pretty wonky and like he sends blitzes off the edge and off the corner like all the time. Purdy is a lot more mistake prone than Mahomes. So I think the defensive coordinator advantage for Kansas City could play into this a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if we're moving then into Kansas City's defense on the field, that is the big thing. I mean, Kansas City's defense has been out of this world.
They're playing
its
best ball recently.
I mean, they have. They have. I mean, we talk about the Buffalo offense. They were able to stop them, and after they had, kind of taken a leap forward after, firing their offensive coordinator, they shut down Baltimore. That Baltimore was the number one run offense in football. And to be fair, they didn't really run it that much against the Chiefs, but I mean, you have to wonder, what did the Chiefs do that made the Ravens not want to run?
I think what the Ravens did to what the Chiefs did to make the Ravens not want to run is get up to a 17-7 lead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, they were running a bit early in the game, but I just felt like time was at the essence for the Ravens, and they just wanted to pass. I thought they made a mistake. I don't think like they had to play like
No,
that.
they got into that mindset so early in the game. It's funny, you play like NCAA or Madden or something, and you go down like a score or a score and a half in the second, and they'll be like, "Well, I don't think they need to change their game plan here." The announcers will come on and say, because it's obvious you shouldn't that early in the game. They did, and it cost them.
Yeah, and I think where it really showed up was that final drive. They had to go 99 yards. Maybe it wasn't the last drive, but it was the last drive where they really had a chance. They had to go 99 yards, and like the distance ran from all of those receivers over the course of the game was so great that they were just moving at a snail's pace towards the end, it felt like. And I thought, like, putting the ball in Lamar's hands, the passing concepts weren't, like, terrible passing concepts. It wasn't like watching Greg Roman where, like, the spacing is horrible down the field and they just, like, totally fell apart. Like, they have a decent passing attack, but, man, like, calling so many and not taking any of the pressure off, it just, I think, killed the stamina, and that's what really hurt the Ravens towards the end and down the stretch. But plus all the mistakes. But
Yeah.
I don't think they will have that against the 49ers. I think if you're Kyle Shanahan and you're looking at the Chiefs and you're seeing, man, they're sending a lot of pressure, that's going to keep McCaffrey and Kittle into block. And, man, they're rotating these safeties like some stuff I've never seen before, and they're disguising their coverages. And Purdy has had some moments where he's trying to throw over pressure and made some bad decisions and made some bad throws. Maybe I'll just run the ball the whole game, you know? Like, I think that could very well be the answer that Kyle Shanahan comes up with. Like, let's win McCaffrey an MVP, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he'll be in 12. Oh, yeah, he'll be in 12. But I wonder if this is perhaps like, hey, the Chiefs' run defense isn't so great. Like, Chris Jones is not nearly as good of a run defender as he is a pass rusher, and that's kind of the case with a lot of these guys. Like, let's just run the football. I could definitely see that being the game plan.
Oh, I mean, if you were the 49ers, there's no way you would go into that game doing anything other than like, well, we're going to run the ball as much as possible, and if you prove that you can stop it, then we'll go to the air more. But until you do, I mean, they've been so strong this year. I don't know why you'd do anything else.
And I don't necessarily think the Chiefs can't stop it. They got a lot of push on Baltimore's offensive line. I don't think the 49ers offensive line is that much better outside of Trent Williams.
But the sample size was so small versus the Ravens.
Well, not even in the run, like in the passing game. I mean, they just I just felt like the Ravens offensive line lived in their own backfield a lot.
Yeah. I thought versus the Ravens, Stanley really struggled, and then when they sent the pressure, the running backs couldn't protect. Yeah. And McCaffrey's a pretty good. I mean, he's good all around.
Stanley was in trouble
okay.
a lot.
I'm trying to see how many yards the Bills had rushing against Kansas City.
This is the thing that worries me because they were running the ball until the fourth quarter, and they were very successful until the fourth quarter, and they were doing it in a way that the 49ers can replicate because they had Dawson Knox and Kincaid out on the field at the same time. Obviously, for the 49ers, it's not so much 12 as it is 21 with Juszczyk, but they were playing with the personnels, and they were really run heavy. But they were running Josh Allen, which the 49ers don't really do with Purdy, even though
they're probably not going to give him 12 carries.
No.
If I had to guess. So the numbers are they ran 40 times for 182 yards.
Yeah.
But if you just look at the backs, it would be 25 carries for 101 yards. That's a pretty solid but even number, it feels like. Mm-hmm. And then they had, of course, a carry from Stephon Diggs and then a carry from DeMar Hamlin.
That's about what you would expect. 4 yards a carry.
Hamlin.
I mean, that's about what you expect, right?
Yeah. Their success rate was high, though. I remember going back and looking at that game, and overall, I don't know if it felt like it was a very good rushing performance. Again, until the fourth quarter, when I thought they got a little bit too predictable, and the Chiefs were kind of selling out to stop those runs. Yeah. But I do think that the Christian McCaffrey can have a big day. Yeah. But again, there was a big mistake. Purdy played really well in the second half of that Lions game, but he did make the big mistake on the pick to Rodriguez. If you make a mistake like that, it's going to feel very over for the Chiefs, or for the 49ers at the hands of the Chiefs. So,
Yeah.
man, I think it's going to be really close. I think it's going to be.
They played Detroit really. I mean that game looked out of hand in the first half in Detroit's favor. If you cannot go down like that against Kansas City. Like, I don't know. The mistakes that the 49ers made against Detroit just can't happen as a collective unit.
I don't know. As we talk about it more, I'm leaning Niners.
Really?
It just seems like I mean, the Chiefs didn't run the ball particularly well the other day.
No.
Have they done great against the run recently? I don't know. You're counting on the receivers to not screw up. I don't trust it. You're counting on the offensive line not to screw up. I don't trust it. There's a lot that could go wrong for Kansas City.
Yeah.
And if they get dug in a hole, I know they have Mahomes, but getting down the field quickly might just be tough for them. Whereas with the 49ers, maybe before this I would have said I'm kind of worried if they get down, but the last couple of weeks they've battled back pretty greatly.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's not a problem for them. And while Purdy, is more prone to making mistakes than Patrick Mahomes, obviously, for being the weakness of the team, he's pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
For being the weak spot, I know it's a quarterback.
It's him and the offensive line outside of Trent, though.
Yeah.
That's my worry.
I agree.
But I agree with you as you lay out the game, especially when you talk about the Chiefs' lack of a deep ball plus the inability to hit the middle of the field against these linebackers potentially. Right. Man, it really does start to sound like
so much. It's like, well, the run game hasn't been good, and their offensive line doesn't match up well, and they can't throw up the middle, and they can't throw deep. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
And I just got randomly pulled aside for an interview for Caesars Sportsbook, and they asked me who I thought was going to win, and I said the Chiefs, but I might have to change my opinion 30 minutes later.
I mean,
but here's the thing. From a logistical standpoint of picking this game, not even worried about what you think's going to happen, you should go with the Chiefs because you don't want to be the guy who picked against Patrick Mahomes and he wins. That is.
I picked Buffalo to beat them. I picked Baltimore to beat them.
You don't want to go against the deep state swamp that Joe Biden.
Oh, that's very
my
true.
God.
Has decreed.
I don't know if this was a big story. I haven't seen it anywhere, but we're sitting in for the Andy Reid press conference, and one of the reporters asked him if he believes that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's relationship is a huge plot to get Joe Biden reelected, as has been shown.
Which is a valid question.
And he said, "Yeah, I do believe that. It was pretty crazy. A lot." No. The reporter was being pretty funny about it.
Yeah.
He was
from Germany.
He was from Germany, and he was asking it "Do you
Are you
believe
sure he
these
wasn't
dumb-"
Australian? Because I saw Nick Adams was in Vegas.
It wasn't Nick Adams.
was not Nick
I'm almost certain it was German, right?
it was
Although I
German.
did see.
Yeah, he was
Nick
All
Adams
right.
was there. But Andy Reid is so funny. He's so nice. He was like, "Thank you for the question, no matter what it was." And he'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I don't know about that." And everybody laughed. But thank you for the question.
He's just glad it wasn't about burgers.
He's just glad it wasn't. He didn't get asked one time about burgers. I was very proud of everybody.
Yeah, at Media Day he did.
Yeah.
Can't win them all.
But, yeah, not at the... Did he get asked about food at all?
No, for a good 15
Wow.
minutes.
Yeah.
Wow. That's good. Vegas must have a bad food scene then, because...
Isn't that
If
where
they were in New
Keith Lee
Orleans-
does most of his food reviews is in Vegas?
Dog, I don't
though?
know about Vegas' food scene. They must not have a signature dish, because
I guess that's fair.
if they played next year in New Orleans, I guarantee it would be like, hit the seafood boils, Andy.
oh my
What's your favorite po' boy
God.
topping?
Yeah.
Like, if it was regional, I know.
I
That's
don't know.
what it
I
would
don't
be.
think Vegas has a...
They don't really
It's a
have a
regional
signature
food.
dish, do they?
No.
It's more signature alcohol, probably.
Signature alcohol. What would be the signature alcohol of Vegas?
It's a casino place.
The long ass, I don't know. I don't know if they have a signature. But that's the thing. You come here and you drink and you gamble. You don't come
Yeah.
here for the
Are
Vegas
we going to gamble
food.
at any time here, fellas?
I don't know.
Remember
The
the last time we did that?
Yeah, we lost so much.
Wasn't
money.
really that fun.
I feel
Well-
we didn't lose
I
that
mean,
much money.
That's true. But like we lost a good amount of money.
We didn't
maybe like-
win.
Yeah, maybe like $100.
We didn't win.
I think between the three of us, we lost like 350.
I lost $100.
I lost $100 and I did it instantly because Blue Wire, their studio is at the Wynn Resort, which is
God, dude, that was-
beautiful resort and a beautiful studio.
True.
But it's too beautiful for us. Like it's for Chet Holmgren, you know, and it's for Richard Jefferson, and it's for people who can go somewhere with an $100 minimum at a table and make more than
Yeah.
one bet, which I could not do on the roulette table, and lost the like 100
Yeah,
instantly.
I-
and
No. My remembering of this is that we went to a blackjack table. It was a $25 minimum,
that
and you
that
lost
happened
4
too.
straight times.
That
And
had- that-
I won 1 and then lost.
Well,
4.
what
Yeah.
happened? Well,
We were
I
better
lost-
at blackjack than everything else.
I lost at roulette. I bet on black and it was red just
Yeah.
instantly. And then I think on a different day, we went to play poker, and then a lady explained to us the rules and asked if we understood, and then we said, nope, and left the table.
Well, it was
and
not.
then we
it was
went to
not
blackjack
normal. It
and
was
then
not
lost
normal
there too.
poker. It was
Yeah.
some
No,
other
I mean, it
version of
wasn't
poker. And I
Hold'em.
just didn't want to learn. You know.
I have no idea how to play
I'm
poker.
not gonna sit
so.
here. You teach me this game that you can take my money from me. Like, no, let me go to a game I already know, and you can take my
Yeah,
money from
yeah,
me
I-
there.
that-
When I moved into my house, there were like a few things that they like left behind. Like they left like the washer and dry, like all the utilities and stuff, or the appliances. But they also left like a really old poker set. It was very weird.
Really?
I
Have
just
you
gave it.
played it?
I gave it to my dad.
Oh, I was thinking maybe it was cursed or something.
It was
But-
cursed.
I also have to say, when I was at Media Day, this was off the record stated, so I can't say who, but a 49ers player came up to me and told me that they liked the pod.
Let's go.
So
So are we rooting for the 49ers then?
I think
I
that
believe we have to.
no one from the Chiefs said that to me. So
That's
I think
true.
I am rooting for that particular
I
player
also
to get
saw
a ring.
that apparently Travis Kelce unfollowed Taylor Swift on Instagram.
Unfollowed her?
Unfollowed.
Wow.
So it's over.
What does
Dude,
this
they're
mean for the league?
that is someone's publicist cooked with that one. That's all I got to say. I've been watching the other two, which is a show about Hollywood, and there's a character named Shuli that's a publicist,
Yeah.
and the main character is like a Justin Bieber type where
Okay.
he's, you know, a young star or whatever, and she's always planning publicity stunts, and the things that she does in that show live in my head. Whenever I see some crazy celebrity news, like someone unfollowed someone, I thought of yesterday when Twitter was talking about the Drake leaks.
Oh my god.
I'm like, someone's publicist cooked on this one. They're just drumming up that my brain is like just, I don't know if it's broken or if I just got a glimpse behind the curtain where I'm like, every single thing a celebrity does, I think they do because like someone's publicist is like trying to put a plan in motion.
Oh, I mean, almost certainly, right? Almost. Where's the?
There's
stay
no way
hot
Travis is logged into Instagram.
Oh. You don't think at all?
No.
Maybe not.
What?
Maybe
Well,
not.
Like, he's a brand. Like,
yeah.
he's not on there to be posting like at the Super Bowl. I don't know. If he unfollowed Taylor, I think that there's probably some good reason.
Maybe
for
it was a glitch or something.
It,
man.
it definitely was a glitch. You know. That's what.
yeah,
that's
they
what they're.
wouldn't do that.
Maybe
That's
they
what
broke
they're-
up.
like each other. I know it.
Maybe they broke
That's what
up.
they're
So it
saying.
was a glitch,
Is that it was a
probably.
glitch.
I will say, while we're talking about Taylor, do not bet on any Taylor Swift prop bets. Do not do it. I know they're available. Will Travis propose after the
I think
game?
that's only in Canada. Do we? How many listeners do we have in Canada?
At least one.
Do
it's,
we?
it's
I
they're
don't
trying
think
to
there's-
get you to do it as a joke. They're trying to get you to give them free money. Like, oh, wouldn't it be funny to bet on the Taylor props? There's no chance.
Wouldn't it be funny to give us $100 for free, dude? Can you
Do not
imagine?
give them the free money if you're betting like
So what you're saying is that it's a donation?
it is a donation. Don't bet the Taylor props.
I saw someone
Bet the
asked
McCaffrey
someone asked
over prop.
Kelsey someone asked Kelsey, who's getting a ring first, the 49ers or Taylor Swift? And he replied with, all I hope is that I'm getting a ring this Sunday. So,
As he should.
yeah.
That's pretty.
I don't know why they thought he would answer that.
But,
with like,
Anyway, yeah, I'm thinking Chiefs will win. I do think Purdy will make more mistakes. I think that Chris Jones is going to change the game at some point. I just don't think John Feliciano can contain him. I think that he's going to cause some major issues. And I know that, well, can Bosa do the same thing? Like, yes, but I just think it's going to bother Purdy a little bit more. And I just think that the Chiefs' defense in Spags is... I don't know if running the football is going to beat Mahomes. And I think that the 49ers have a kind of weak link. I don't like to... Oh, what am I talking about? Ambry Thomas. Like, that cornerback can be picked on. Same with Brown, the safety. Like, he's struggled at points. Like, that might be a corner that haunts your dreams if you're a 49ers fan, unfortunately. But do they have someone who can burn him consistently? I don't know. But I just...
well,
You need to be so... You need to
him.
look so good, I think, to beat Kansas City. And as good as the 49ers are and as many great players as they have, it's come down to the wire against the Lions. It's come down to the wire against the Packers.
Yeah.
But I guess those two teams beat the Chiefs.
Dude, it's not an easy pick.
The Lions beat the Chiefs without Kelsey and without Chris Jones.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's true. And the Packers just lost to the 49ers. Literally lucky shot from a bum.
But could I say
who
that
threw
about
up
the
a
Chiefs?
prayer.
Missed field goal and fumble at the one? No, these are fraudulent wins. They're still in the divisional round to me.
I don't know. I'm
having a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the 49ers.
I'm glad that you do because we always pick the same shit.
I'm
We
going
do.
with the 49ers. If Mahomes wins it and has a great game, it wouldn't surprise me. It's not me betting against him. It's really difficult.
no, you're
Both
betting
those
against
teams are
him.
really good.
You're betting against.
You're
him.
betting against.
For the end of the day, I think he's a fraud and he's going to throw 3 picks or whatever. No. I don't know, man. It's just, it feels like there's just too
It's
many.
going to be a great
weak-
game. I'm betting
I
on a
think it'll
great
be a
game.
great
That's
game.
just- but I do think if
My
it's close,
official pick on FanDuel was 21-17 Chiefs.
Pick a team already. I bet it's going to be a great game.
I
The
think it's
winner?
gonna be-
the fans, I think.
The winner,
I think it's going to be
those watching at home,
Kansas City 38, San Francisco 35.
high scoring.
Wow.
The exact same score as last year's.
Wow.
I don't know if it'll be that high score. I think both defenses will.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they'll get some stops. Maybe not a lot of turnovers.
Yeah, you're right. They will.
I don't know. I'm just like, the Chiefs defense has been really locked down.
I'll say 33 Chiefs, 27 49ers. Still high scoring, but
Couple more stops.
You know.
couple
Okay.
more stops.
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough.
And
Huh.
then for Super Bowl MVP,
Oh,
we did a draft this offseason for all the awards, Offensive
Yes.
Player of the Year, MVP, Defensive
Yes.
Player of the Year. I'd be curious to look back on that and see who actually won, because I'm sure one of us must have had McCaffrey and one of us must have had Garrett, Watt,
Yeah.
or
Probably.
Carson.
I mean,
so like one of us could probably win this. One of us probably had Lamar. So
probably. I mean, it's what? Three total
we'll have
three
to look.
players
Yeah,
each?
we'll have
We'll
to
go
look.
back and
We'll have
the
to go
odds
look.
that none
But
of us picked.
I want to do the same thing with Super Bowl MVP.
Okay.
okay.
Let's just start with you, Matt, because that's how it went with the Stay Hot locks this
Oh,
year.
that's true.
Yeah, you
So-
did win the Stay Hot locks.
And then
You
we'll
did.
we'll just go Matt, Blaiden, me
Okay.
picking some
Snake
Super Bowl.
draft.
Yeah, picking
All
some
right.
Super Bowl MVP.
Okay, I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes.
Good pick,
He's the
Blaiden.
best.
He's not going to get to explain himself.
I would
Okay.
go with the second best player in the game.
The second best player in the
Mm-hmm.
game. I think I will pick
Who gets yards?
Travis Kelsey.
That's fair. I'll go with Brock Purdy and CMC,
Yeah.
and those are probably the obvious ones.
My next pick will be. This is where it gets tough. We've picked all the big names.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a defensive player would be next. I will go Fred Warner.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Chris Jones,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
then
okay.
it's back to me.
And now
then,
it gets fun.
Now it gets really.
and I'll
tough.
go with Nick Bosa.
Oh,
Ooh,
damn.
Okay.
Too many good players. man.
Man. I will go with.
I don't know. I may have messed up going defensive. There's still some good offensive players on the board here who could have big games.
I mean, on the Niners for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a better pick.
Um,
Well, you know,
I think I'll go Ayuk.
I think in this, that's fair. I think in the single game, it's a little bit easier for a defensive player to figure it out and get it. I don't know what the numbers on that are.
Oh no! Do I want to? I might go. No, I won't. I was thinking of taking Cleveland Browns legend Deshaun Gibson, but
Shout out to him.
Shout out to
to
Sean.
him. Maybe I should just root for the
Let him-
Niners because they have.
Let him play invert Tampa 2 again and let him cook. I think there's Debo.
Yeah,
There's Greenlaw.
yeah.
On the Chiefs, we've got Snead and McDuffie could potentially get a pick.
I'd go with Debo Samuel.
Debo, I just don't know how much he's going to touch the ball, but I guess that's true with like a corner as well. So, yeah, I guess I'll go with Debo Samuel. And then after that, I'm going to go with,
That's your last pick, isn't it?
yeah, that's
You
it.
each get 3. He was gonna pick
Maybe
a
we
fourth.
each have to name a total dark horse after this.
Okay,
Total dark horse Deshaun Gibson.
So basically, so you have a total dark horse. That
No,
you
I
wanna
don't.
share.
I'm like, oh, this segment was kind of lame because we just named.
We've
all the
named
best
all the
players.
best players in the draft or in the Super Bowl.
Okay, total dark horse.
If Coney Ely, who didn't win it,
Oh my God.
unfortunately,
Would've won
but would have won it. Like, who could a Coney Ely be? Maybe as a better segment.
I don't know.
Give me Deshaun Gibson.
Sean,
Give me
to think about that.
Drew Tranquil.
There you go.
I think
Okay.
maybe.
I've sat at his presser for a while.
Yeah. What information did you glean
He said
from?
his favorite thing to do is blitz.
See, that's something that could. I think that they are going to be very blitz heavy.
So
obvious.
he'll get a bunch of he'll get like 2 sacks and he'll force a fumble and scoop and score it and he'll win.
And
that way.
if
There
Chris
you go.
Jones is getting pressure, Brock Purdy maybe will throw it
Mhm.
right to Tranquil like he did to Anzalone last week. So
So I'm
that's my
saying
dark
But it
that-
could also be Nick Bolton.
Brock Purdy will throw it right to Drew Tranquil. Yes.
Could
I
be
think-
Nick Bolton too.
Tranquil is also he's fat. Like he mentioned that he likes blitzing. He's great at getting downhill, like
Mhm.
reacting quickly. So if they're gonna run a bunch of wide zone and it's gonna be run heavy, like could he make a couple plays if they're running, especially to him, maybe away from Nick Bolton, like
Yeah.
to his side, make him the
Yeah.
front side linebacker. But if he cleans that up and maybe gets a turnover or a big play somehow, I think he could pop up a couple times, probably good and bad over the course of the game. But yeah, that'd probably be my pick for a random ass dark horse.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I already said Deshaun Gibson. So Browns
I
legend.
still have to pick one, man.
You
gotta
don't
pick,
have to.
gotta pick. No, he has to. He has to.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of who could. All right, MVS.
MVS.
You
MV
know, I feel bad for MVS. We're in like,
all he did
the
is I
Chiefs
think
presser.
MVS has like 0 chance to win it. He would it would have to be like not only would he have to play well and have like 100-something yards, but then the Chiefs' passing offense outside of him would have to be bad.
Yeah.
So Mahomes wouldn't win it.
Yeah.
It would have to be like when Edelman won it.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know. I felt bad when we're in the Chiefs presser and everyone just kept asking MVS about like the drop issues.
Which
And
I'm sure he's been getting
they
all
would
year.
they would ask him about Mahomes or about Rashee Rice, and I'm like, no one just has like a question for MVS.
I did,
except
but
for
then
you. Except for you.
but I asked him the play call for his game winner, and then he said I can't
Well,
tell you.
see, but this is part of what makes it. I think people are underestimating a little bit how hard it is sometimes.
Oh,
because
it's hard. I mean, we're
they
sitting
can't,
here.
They
trying
can't
to, like,
tell you anything. Like, there's a pretty big limit on what they can tell you.
Yeah.
And then the other questions that you might have,
And then they err on the side of like I'm not going to give out
Yeah.
any I'm not going to give out any information, especially when they're at a podium. Like
Right.
the situation is there's some guys at podiums, and then sometimes there's guys just milling around. That wasn't the case at our presser, but it is at media night. And when they're on the presser, I really think they're just trying like to be basically as bland as humanly possible
yeah.
as to not give anything away. And I don't even know, like MVS said, I don't think I can tell you that. So he was just like erring on the side of
I don't blame him.
caution, So I
Yeah.
don't blame him either. It's tough to get anything out of these guys, but yeah, I don't know. We'll be seeing San Francisco later today, and hopefully
Yeah.
asking.
I mean, yeah, we're recording this Wednesday, kind of in the early afternoon, and yeah, go talk to some of the San Francisco guys.
I thought of another dark horse for
Yeah.
MVP. Another one would be Justin Reed, the Chiefs safety. I just remembered how much I think the safeties are going to matter in this because the Chiefs play more too high than anybody else, which is middle of the field open,
Yeah.
which means when they're running these crossers, like they're going to have to
49ers like
bite
to do.
down
Yeah.
and take those away. So it's going to be a lot of read on Ayuk or read on Debo or,
If you make a
not
couple
specifically,
plays. Yeah.
maybe not always. And he's going to be in the box as well, so he could get some sacks. So maybe I'm changing my pick from Tranquil to Reed. He's
Tranquil to
probably going to
Reed.
be a little bit more pivotal in the course of the game, and I'm sure the odds once you get past like the first couple players
Yeah, they
are
probably
about
get
the same.
pretty.
But a safety hasn't won MVP since Jake Scott in Super Bowl 7.
Oh my God.
What is the offensive to defensive player split looking like? I wonder.
It's looking like a lot of quarterbacks,
Unsurprising.
As with all awards,
as with all awards.
many such cases.
I feel like there's been Von Miller got one.
Did he?
Yeah, Vaughn did get one in
Did he?
50.
Yeah.
You should remember that one.
I do remember that one.
Remmers
All right,
Merchant. Malcolm Smith got one.
Yes.
Cooper Kupp got one.
Right. Deserved.
Edelman got one, which you already mentioned. But yeah, a lot of quarterbacks. So,
Yeah.
but I think the safeties in coverage will be extremely key. Like very extremely key. So that's just something to keep in mind.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. Well, I don't know if we have anything else. It's probably just going to be a shorter episode today. I mean, the only thing we have to talk about is Super Bowl stuff.
We'll be on a live later talking about the Super
Yeah.
Bowl again.
Yeah.
So check that out.
Yeah, we'll be on a live.
Great.
That'll be we could talk about the Super Bowl stuff. We could talk about some of the 49ers presser. We will have already been to at that point. Talk a little bit more about Vegas maybe. I will say this. The fact that the NFL is able to put on such an elaborate production is insane.
Production has been elaborate.
Yeah, I mean, to get all the media in one spot for any
pretty
event
cool,
is pretty
yeah.
crazy. You don't see it for the NBA. I know you mentioned that the All-Star Game is kind of that event.
I think
Matt,
the
but
All-Star
it's-
game is kind of like that, and Summer League is kind of like that. I'd say that
But
this
also,
is,
but both of those events are like a little goofy, right? And this is the big event. Like when you look at, like, there's just not that many eyes on Summer League that the public cares about, and there's not that many eyes on the All-Star Game. Like
Right.
everybody's looking at the Super Bowl, plus all the media are here.
Yeah.
It's like, so the content machine is just crazy, and then
yeah.
and then people are searching for content, and then they ask silly questions, and then that gets 700 quote tweets on Twitter. Like everything just gets compounded.
Here's my take on that. Really is it's okay to ask silly questions if they're funny.
Yes.
If you can think of
Yeah.
something funny, yeah, then it's good. But most of them, they're bad because it's just like
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a silly.
Like,
People are like,
we had an
people are
idea.
like,
we had an
that
idea
easy.
to
It's
ask a
really
receiver if you could make up a route.
that's not a bad. I don't think that's a bad
it's not
question.
a bad question.
And
Like it's interesting. It's just that like it's so like putting them on the spot where it's like invent a new color, please.
Yeah, it's like asking an artist to invent a new color.
Maybe you
or
could ask them, like-
ask a comedian. It's like, tell me a joke. What's funny to you?
Yeah, I don't know. And they'd probably be like, there aren't any good routes that aren't being run right now.
Right.
football is being played a long time. But
I
it would
mean-
be interesting to maybe like what's a signature router? Is there a detail you add that no one else adds to like
Right.
a route?
Right.
So maybe that would be good. But
And I was like, what if we just asked someone if they'd rather have 500K or dinner with Jay-Z?
they'd probably rather have dinner with Jay-Z, honestly. These players are
That's
so
what I
rich.
was like. They make so much money that is 500K really moving the needle for like?
Would you rather have
There might be some of them that.
Here's a question for the viewers at home. Would you rather have $50 or dinner with Blaiden? I'm trying to think of a price. 50. How about this? 100. 125 or dinner with Blaiden. Blaiden is, and the dinner is free.
That's pretty.
The dinner is complimentary.
$125, or you get to come to Ocean Club.
That's a pretty. I don't know. That's a pretty fair question. Let's assume that you don't have to like fly out. You know.
Yeah,
Let's assume that
just,
it's
you're
local.
inherently. You
I
get
will come to
teleported
you.
the dinner.
We will go to your favorite restaurant,
Yeah.
or you get $125.
Leave in the comments. 125 or dinner with Blaiden. Or
What are you
or
guys?
50 and dinner with me,
What?
but I get to choose
But I-
the place.
I get to choose a restaurant, and it's gonna be something you don't like.
and it's going to be somewhere shitty.
Where would you choose?
I'd go on Yelp and I'd go to the or how about this? $50 for dinner with me. $50 or dinner with me and you pay.
And you pay.
I'd rather have $50 or get me dinner.
$50 or buy me snacks.
And then Matt, it's $75
$75.
or dinner with Matt. But
Any stipulations?
I don't know. There's
His cat's there.
We might be.
no, it's
But-
literally you're just priced less than Bladen.
Okay.
Honestly, there
Fair
is
enough.
no stipulations.
I'd probably be a worse
You don't give
dinner
well,
guest.
you don't give money advice like I believe Bladen could.
That's
like
true.
if you talk to Bladen,
Like
I
the
feel
amount
like
you
he
would
could,
learn about like business would probably be worth
and like
I mean,
balancing like
Finn's
work-life
$20,000
balance.
easily.
I don't think Matt could really
You'd probably
give you
get
any
stupider
insightful.
about business if you.
Hey, I wasn't a business major, so I don't.
Yeah, but you're the best of the three of us to talk to.
Oh.
So it could be like an investment because that's
An
the spirit of the
investment.
Jay-Z question. Is
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
dinner with Jay-Z could
but the
make you
joke-
more money in the long run.
But the joke with the Jay-Z question is he would have just been like, brother, why didn't you take the 500K?
But I think your advice could net someone more than 125 in the
Maybe, but
grand
like,
scheme of things.
yeah, that's the thing is like it depends on how much it is. Because if we're talking like 50K or dinner with Jay-Z, maybe you would take the dinner with Jay-Z, or maybe if it's 5K. But
What's your price for dinner
Also-
with Jay-Z?
those guys just went and sat a book on our table and then left when we looked at them. I don't.
It's snucking around. Anyway,
I don't know.
sneaking around. Anyway, that's all I got for
Okay.
random bullshit to talk about at the end.
Random questions to talk
That's
about.
all I've got as well.
Yeah. Well, then make sure you tune into our live stream. You'll be watching this on Thursday, so it'll either be later today or tomorrow, but we'll keep you updated on Twitter, of course.
Of course.
And thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to keep traveling around, trying to meet some more media members and interview
Having
some
an overall
more.
good time.
Yeah, we'll interview some more players, and I'm sure
Go
Theo
to
will
Colin
have
Cowherd's
a
party
great.
tonight.
Yeah, we
Shout
have
out
some
Nerd
parties.
Sesh.
We're in deep.
We're in deep. We have some parties we'll be going to. But I don't know if we can disclose.
I think we can. We're going to Colin Cowherd's party tonight. I'm pumped. It's gonna
Courtesy
be us
of-
and Nerd Sesh. It's
Nerd
gonna be
Session.
Shout
dope.
out.
Yeah, we'll take a pic with Nerd Sesh and we'll post that and
We should. Yeah, we do need to get. a
We-
picture with
We
them.
do need
should.
to,
That
that
would
will go.
be-
That will go crazy. The pic with Nerd Sesh on. If we post it on Instagram, that could be story worthy for the fans. That happens to me sometimes. Do you ever post on Instagram and
yes,
someone
and
puts it on your
their
story?
I love it. I think that's so fun.
The funniest ever was I was going through someone's story that had me on it, and it was like the one before me was like a Drake post, and then it was me. I felt
So they like
special.
you as much as they like Drake.
I
That's
know
pretty
it was
huge.
like it was a couple celebrities that they like. It was, but I just remember Drake and then me on the story. It was awesome.
And then Theo Ash.
So if that's the way you use Instagram, maybe a hard pick could be coming tonight.
Yeah.
But
Well, thank you all for tuning in. Been an absolute blast. We're going to continue to have a good time in Vegas. And until next time, we'll catch you on the flippity flop.